Alright there folks, welcome to another March Fishing Adventures, and we're doing something a little bit different today. I'm actually recceing a river section that I'm quite keen to come up to. It's the Nidd, and it's a little bit lower down than I have been before, and this stretch that I'm going to have a walk around now is the bit that actually goes into the Ouse. Okay, it's part of the Leeds water. And if you've not been up here before, it's the Moor Monkton stretch basically. So you turn off the A59, come into Moor Monkton village, follow the road around to the right, and then eventually you'll see this track on left. You basically just come up this track. There's a compound there to park. You see my van just there, look, parked neatly out of the way. Although I think I've parked it wrong because it looks like the barriers work a different way to what I've actually done, but ignore that. There is another compound further down the track that you can park at as well, and that'll get you right down to that little section that is entering the Ouse. But for now, I'm just gonna have a bit of a walk, see what the river's like, because I've fished the upper Nidd, obviously when I've done the barbel videos, but I just fancy doing something a little bit different. And I think this area will be good, possibly for some chub. It seems to be a little bit narrower, with a lot more gravel bars, judging by Google Maps. So we're going to go see. So yeah, stick around and I'll show you a few pegs and see what we can see. And hopefully, we might even spot some fish. So, this is the first little area. I've come out of the van. The van is up there. So I've basically just come down through this little copse of trees, down the bank, just onto the edge of the river. I don't know if you can tell on camera, but it is very clear, quite a sandy bottom, but in this inside edge there's a few boulders and rocks and stuff, but yeah, it swings around that corner up there into this nice little glide just down here. I can't see any fish, but to be fair, I did make a right racket coming down. And as you can see down there, it does curve round to the left. So I'm going to have a bit of a walk up. I did bring some bait with me, just to see if there's anything that I can see in the water. I'm going to just give it a few loose offerings and just see what happens. But and then folks, so we've moved down a little bit. We were up in that corner just up there. We've moved down probably 150 yards and we found a nice little area here. And I'm really glad I've come up to have a look. I normally recce venues if I'm unsure where to park, what the access is like and stuff like that, especially on these rivers, because these sort of stretches aren't the type of place where you'd come with a ton of gear and set up and sit for the day. It's going to be a case of, I think, finding a swim, either chucking a feeder out or a ledger with a bait on for a barbel, or potentially just trotting a stick float down, trying to get a few chub out and stuff like that. But having said that, this little area now that I'm at looks proper fishy, and this would definitely be my first port of call, without a doubt. It's just on a bend. I'll spin camera around in a second and just explain. But yeah, as you see, we're coming down from that area up there. It's coming down and it just opens up over there. That area there is a massive area of slack water, and right over on the far bank it's all weed. Now if that doesn't scream barbel, I don't know what does really, to be fair. But it looks really deep down there as well, so that'd be great just for trotting a stick float down and see. I mean, the water's not massively clear, even with the Polaroids on. It is a bit difficult to see, but there has been some fish splashing here, so I know there's fish in this area. And this is what 2-minute walk from where I've parked van, to be fair. So if you're lazy like me, this is a good place to start, I'd have thought. But I'm going to carry on downstream anyway and see. Hopefully it's not going to rain, but it looks like it might, so I might have to cut this short, but we'll see. So yeah, let's carry on. Right then, so that's literally just coming down on that bend. All the weed is in that little area there, and it comes down and it does shallow up quite a lot. It's nice, fast moving, quite a sandy bottom. Not as many rocks in this little bit up here, and then it goes down, and as you can see it speeds up a little bit there where it gets really shallow in those creases. There's like a little island there with a tree growing on it, and then we go off further down and just around the corner, so that's where we're heading next. Right then, so we're just literally the other side of that island. As you can see in there, look, where all the silt and the sand has built up. There's quite a lot of debris there. There, look. Just got my glasses over here. You can see a little bit clearer, hopefully. But yeah, it's shallower, and then as we go a bit further down, about there, it does just start deepening up a little bit by the look of it from here. But there's been a few fish splashing over there in that far bank. There seems to be a bit of a deep pocket over there, so that would be worth a look as well. So let's carry on further down and see. Yeah, it does look good down this little area, to be fair. Probably needs a bit more water in it for me to be 100% happy, but it's looking good, looking really good, and there's just plenty of features and stuff to explore as well with the stick floats. So yeah, it's looking good so far. And to be fair, I'm only still within 5 minutes at van. To be fair, I've not even really explored much, to be honest, so we'll keep going. So yeah, as you can see, there's a sheep down on the bank, and that's pretty obvious really. On the far bank there, you've got loads of footprints in there, so it's obviously when the sheep or the cattle or whatever are grazing, this comes down into a watering hole. Now from that tree down, it is quite deep, but it does shallow up quite a lot. And then on the bank I'm on, there's another one, look. So it's obviously a watering hole for the cattle and stuff, but it just looks so nice. It's so peaceful up here as well. I'm going to keep going. A fish has just topped just below that tree, so I'm going to try and get down there and see what that was, if we can. But yeah, there's a few more boot prints on the ground down here now. So this is obviously where there's a few fish been coming out. Oh yeah, sure, chub on that far bank over there. Not big, just little chublets, but they're in numbers by the look of it. Get my glasses over lens again and just see. There we go. Don't know if you can see them over there, but there's a few just coming in onto the edge of that gravel bar there. Like I say, not massive fish, but sign of life anyway. Oh yeah, decent sized one over there as well by the look of it. Try and get this camera down if I can. Yeah, that seems to be the little area where there's a few chub just on that far bank. So yeah, and again, it's we're not a million miles away from the van, but I would recommend travelling light without a doubt. Maybe a quiver and a seat and the bag of bait, and I reckon that'd probably be about it. Because as I said earlier, I don't think there's any pegs down here where you'd rock up and sit for 4 or 5 hours. I think it'd be a case of coming down, having a few trots through, or maybe half an hour on the feeder, getting a few out and then moving on. But having said that, I don't know what the normal water level is down here. I'm sure it's not this low. So no, I guess if there's plenty of water in, it would be an ideal place to come down, especially this little section here, and just trot a stick float down for chub. But we'll have to see. But definitely I would recommend waders as well. Just get right in the edge and see. But yeah, let's mosey on further down and see what else we can find. Come down from all the way up there, basically. I think that's where I did the last little bit of filming. So we've walked down about another 150 yards, and we've just found this nice little area now. There's a tree there overhanging, but it's quite shallow after the tree, and then it just deepens down all the way down there to under that tree there. It just looks very, very fishy. It's a lot deeper there as well. Again, it's dodgy banks. You'd have to sit on bank, travel incredibly light. But again, it's just another one that would be, I think, worth a look. And if we go just a little bit lower down, just past this tree, down it, oh, fish has just spooked off from edge. It looks a lot better. There was a big heron there, just took off. It just looks good just for trotting a stick float down in there. There's a few fish topping, so I'm just going to go down and just see if we can see what they are. Right then, so I've just come up onto the very top of the bank from this little section I've just been looking at, because it stays pretty much the same all the way around the corner, and it just looks, I mean, look at that. That far channel does look nice and deep, and I reckon that would be a place to come and sit, definitely for a couple of hours. If you know there's chub here, get the caster and emp out and just trot a stick float down and stuff. Could end up with a good day's fishing there, so maybe this is where we'll come and see. And again, to be fair, we're not a million miles away from Van. It's not a bad walk at all, to be fair. So, but we'll carry on, see what else is up there. Right then, folks. So I've come all the way up now. I've not got as far as I really want to, because if you look over there, there's a ton of big cows, and I ain't going over there. Yeah, I don't know if there's a bull in there or not, but there's a lot of cows, and I ain't going over there because they look stupidly retarded, don't they? So I ain't risking it. But anyway, I've walked up as far as you can see down there, it starts to bend round to the left. And then as far as I can remember from the map, it goes back round to the right, and then it enters the ooze. But yeah, this is the limit of where I'm going to come. But if I spin the camera round, yeah, just from that tree there is that section up where I think it'd be good to come and just sit with a stick float or a feeder with caster and emp and just have a bit of a session rather than a bit of a wander. and then below that tree it obviously comes down, and it does shallow up a little bit on this inside edge, but the far bank looks like it's deeper water. It's a lot darker over there, and we come down all the way down into these willows. Now there are some steps cut into the bank just up there through these nettles, so obviously someone has been coming up here and having a fish. So yeah, it looks like someone's been coming up and having a fish anyway. So there's obviously fish up here. If they're doing that, if they're cutting steps in and stuff, it's a surefire sign that there are fish in here this far up. But this little area here looks really, really good, just for lobbing a feeder just into the edge of those trees and just seeing. But yeah, it does look good. Just gonna have a little wander further up. Oh, there are some people walking through, so I'm going to see if they get mauled and attacked, and if they don't, I'll wander further round. So far so good, they're still alive. I'll check in soon. I'll either be in the van or at the other side of that fence. We'll see. Bye then, folks. Ah dear. Yeah, as you can tell, I'm walking, and I don't normally like to walk because I'm a bit of a lard ass and I'm massively unfit, but I ain't walking past them cows. I did get a bit closer and about 4 stood up all at once, and I kind of freaked out, so I'm heading back to the van. But just to let you know roughly how far away we are from the van, it's literally just up there, so I'll show you. There, look. Where are we? There. So we're not far at all. So it's quite. So yeah, as you can see, we've not really walked far at all. And there's some great looking little areas up here. So definitely give it a go. Sorry I couldn't go further down, but I don't want to risk getting trampled to death, to be perfectly honest with you. It's not a way I want to go. So we'll see. But if you fancy having a venture up here and coming downstream, I mean, we've got the upstream bit as well. I don't know how far that goes up, but I always fancied looking down here first, just to see, because I know there's been some decent barbel come out of the ewes down there. So whether they migrate up here or not, I don't know, but it wouldn't surprise me if they do. So yeah, hopefully I've made it a bit easier for you. If you can't get the time to come up and have a look, or you're a bit unsure where it was or what the swims were like and stuff, I've saved you the time and the effort now. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I don't know if I'll do any more videos like this, but I do like to come up on a Monday if I can, and just recce an area, just so I know in my own head what I need to do, what I need to bring, because there's nothing worse than turning up at a new stretch or whatever and you're carrying far too much gear, because you just end up resenting it at the end of the day, and no one wants that. We've come out to go fishing to chill out, but I hope I've saved you the hassle. So tight lines, catch you all later and stay safe. Cheers.